said she was too slow, too late, and too old to start over. But she proved that timing means nothing when the heart refuses to quit. This story is about a woman in her mid-40s, working long shifts at a small grocery store. Every day felt the same: scan items, bag products, smile politely, and go home completely exhausted. It wasn't that she was unhappy, but she felt deeply stuck, like life was quietly passing her by. People her age were getting promotions, running businesses, and finishing degrees. Meanwhile, she was still living paycheck to paycheck, wondering if she had already missed her chance. What people didn't know was that she once dreamed of becoming a nurse. She had a passion for taking care of others, a love for learning, and a deep desire to feel useful. But life, as it often does, had other plans. Her father got sick, her family needed money, and her dreams were replaced by urgent responsibilities. Before she knew it, 20 years had gone by in a blur. One evening, after a particularly long shift, she helped an elderly customer who had collapsed just outside the store. While everyone else panicked, she remained calm. She checked his breathing, kept him stable, comforted his worried wife, and guided them until the ambulance arrived. As the paramedics took over, one of them looked at her and said, "You handled that better than most of our trainees." She just laughed awkwardly, but inside, something long dormant woke up. A tiny spark she thought had died out years ago was suddenly reignited. That night, she sat alone at her kitchen table and whispered to herself, "What if it's not too late?" The very next morning, she typed "nursing programs for adults" into a search engine. She found evening classes, weekend training, and even scholarships designed for working students. But just as hope began to build, fear hit her like a tidal wave. She hadn't studied in decades. She wasn't good with computers. She would be surrounded by younger, faster, more confident people. She nearly talked herself out of it completely. But then, she remembered the man she helped outside the store. She remembered that spark, and with a deep breath, she signed up. The first few weeks were brutal. She would come home at midnight, tired, discouraged, and overwhelmed. She failed quizzes. She constantly doubted herself. Her hands shook during the practical drills in class. She felt embarrassed sitting next to classmates who were half her age, who seemed to grasp everything so effortlessly. But every single time she wanted to quit, she forced herself to remember why she started. Slowly, something beautiful began to happen. She stopped comparing herself to others. She started asking more questions, no matter how simple they seemed. She studied during her breaks at the grocery store, her textbooks propped up next to the cash register. She practiced procedures over and over again until her hands finally stopped shaking. And soon, the same classmates who once intimidated her started asking her for help. They saw a quiet determination in her that they admired. 2 years later, she stood on a stage during graduation, holding her nursing certificate. The crowd cheered loudly, but she cried quietly, not from sadness, but from the overwhelming knowledge of how hard she had fought to earn that moment. She didn't finish top of her class. She didn't get perfect scores on every exam, but she finished. She had made it. Months later, she started her first job at a small community clinic. She cared for her patients with a gentleness and empathy that came from real-life experience, not just from textbooks. Patients trusted her instantly. Families thanked her with tears in their eyes. Her co-workers admired her unwavering dedication. One day, after helping to save a child during a critical emergency, the doctor on duty turned to her and said, "You were meant for this." Driving home that night, she glanced at her own reflection in the rearview mirror and realized something profound. She wasn't late. She wasn't behind. She wasn't slow. She was right on time for the life she was always meant to live. The world once whispered that her dreams had an expiration date, but she proved a simple, powerful truth that can change anyone's life. It is never, ever too late to become the person you were always capable of being. Your journey is yours alone, and it unfolds at its own perfect pace. Thank you for watching. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more.